Hey guys, welcome to EuroLeague Fantasy Talks. In this episode, we will talk about BasketNews EuroLeague Fantasy platform and how to continue growing our budget there. Last round, my team got 1.17 million to my budget. I have a record gains from Wheeler above with 242k and a bunch of players around 130k, which is Edwards, Diop, Jantunen, Ward, and Gedraitis. Dovydas Gedraitis from Žalgiris and Devin Booker got us 110k. Vezenkov was a risky pick, but still did very well against Barcelona and got us a 90k bonus. Shorts didn't do so well with 2.2 fantasy points unexpectedly, but still got us 20k to our budget. And Levi Randolph as well with 4.4 against Real Madrid, he got us 39k. When we check the overall table of BasketNews Fantasy, we see Jonas M on the first place with Wavaruk team, Audrius A with Padba Q second place, and Ankstyvas Paukstelis in the third place. But when we sort all the teams by budget size, my team is already in the fourth place with 16.3 million budget. And let's now check how much each of my player needs to score in the next round to not drop his price. And the numbers show that Booker needs -2. So even if -2, he will still not drop his price. He'll probably not gain anything as well, but that is the safety net that we have. Vezenkov actually needs to score more than 22.8 to actually grow his price, because if he scores less than that number, his price will drop. For TJ Shorts is 15.9 is the amount that he needs to score not to drop in price. Wheeler Bab has a safety net of -14.5, so if he scores -14, he still grows his price by a little bit. Carson Edwards, even with 0 PAR or even with -9 fantasy points, he would still grow his price, so he has quite of a safety net there. Khalifa Diop needs 0.6, and if he scores more than that, he will grow his price. Levi Randolph is safe at 4.2. Dovydas Gedraitis needs 6.9, otherwise he would drop in price. Jantunen -5.5 is safe. Even 0 fantasy points is good for him to grow. And Tyson Ward with -3.5 is also good. So the green players are good to keep. Whereas red we want to trade out or consider blue ones, generally if we want to grow in price. But of course some of them we might keep because of the fantasy points that we bring. So let's do the changes now. So actually I decided to sell Levi Randolph, Dovydas Gedraitis, and I decided to keep Vezenkov, even if it's a tough game, but he already had 23 PAR when he played against Pau in the Greek League this year. And therefore I will sell TJ Shorts, as I still have to sell at least one of the red players that need a lot to score. I just choose to keep Vezenkov. I might buy Shorts again in the next few rounds. And now we need to get 3 new players, and I will start with a guard. I will get Darius Thompson from FS, as Darius Thompson has very good stats for price growing. Even with -13.5 fantasy points, he would still grow his price. And the second guard that I will get will be Matthew Morgan from Virtus Bologna. He cost only 799k, but I trust Matthew Morgan much more than Iago dos Santos, since Morgan seems to have a better role in Virtus than Iago dos Santos. And why I compare Iago? Because we have similar price going stats for round 8. Iago might have a little bit better price growing stats, because Matthew Morgan will not drop his price if he scores -11.4 fantasy points. And for my forward, I will get the one and only Nikola Mirotic. Nikola Mirotic will grow his price even if he would score -4 fantasy points. -4.4 is the limit when he stops growing. Against Real Madrid, it will be much needed his scoring, and he is the sole leader of the team. So we just hope he has a good night and he can also bring a lot of fantasy points for us, as Real Madrid is not doing so well with Musa injured for several weeks. Ibaka also didn't play in the last round, so it's not sure if he will play. Let's see about that. So Mirotic is definitely one of the best players in EuroLeague, or one of the best scorers at least. So that's my team for round 8, and I will captain Mirotic for Thursday, and if he doesn't do so well, I can always go with Vezenkov for Friday. And let's now check other players in each position that are good to pick for round 8. We don't have so much centers in round 8 due to the stats that we have, but if Caruso plays, and he actually should because Nebo got injured again, so it's a good pick for only 281k. He would grow in price even if he would score -8 or anything before -9. -9 he would still not drop his price at least. Kratzer is back and he's playing now only for 71k. He is good to pick, seems to be a second center in Paris at the moment. So even with -3, he would still not drop his price. Devin Booker from Bayern he has -2. I even put Khalifa Diop with 0.6. Dante Hall from Baskonia would not drop if you scores 3.9 fantasy points. Uroš Plavšić from Zvezda 4.1 is still good to not drop price. And Laurynas Birutis will grow his price as long as he would score more than 4.4 fantasy points. So it's still a good pick. And we have much more forwards. Chimeza Metu from Barcelona needs to score 0.5 fantasy points at the bottom. But all other players, even with 0 fantasy points, they would still grow in price. So Olanovas, Nikos Rakovopoulos, for example, Nikola Mele, Jordan Anwara seems to be doing good, so it's a good pick with -3. He would still not drop his price. Mirotic that we picked, of course, Jantonen we already have. Harris, Bean, and Kahudi, they all are good for price growing, assuming that they will play, because even if -8 or -9, he would still grow their price. So definitely these are considerable picks. And for guards, Nick Wheeler-Bob, Darius Thompson, I compared Morgan with Dos Santos. They're all good picks with -10 fantasy points. They would still grow their price. Carson Edwards, Tyler Dorsey, and Stefano Tonut, among others, are good picks. And Harchankov with 50k, he actually still good pick as long as he plays. He would get price grow as long as he doesn't score a -5.3. Then if he scores more than that, he should continue to grow. He only had one good performance in the last round, so be careful if picking him. Juan Núñez in Barcelona seems to be getting a bigger role now that Laporta is injured, so even with -0.2 fantasy points, he would still not drop his price. And of course Elijah Bryant with 2.4 fantasy points, but we can expect much more from him. Although Monaco is not the easiest defense, so let's see about that. And Devon Hall from Fenerbahce, 0.9 fantasy points, would still not drop his price. So these are the best picks to consider for round 8 to grow your price. If you have any questions about players that are not mentioned in this video, please drop them in the comments and I will try to answer. Otherwise, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. Thank you for watching and see you on the next one.